Here are the only 12 rules that you will ever need in order to live a happy and successful life. Number 1. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. The first rule is something we can start doing immediately as we get out of bed. Get up right away, stand up straight, and roll your shoulders back. It's so easy to get beat up by life, just loss after loss after loss. And the more losses that you go through, the worse your posture will likely get. And you see this everywhere. Winners walk around standing up straight with their shoulders back. They have smiles on their faces. Losers, on the other hand, are hunched over. They look sleep deprived. Their hair is messy. Their eye contact is all over the place. And the only thing you have to ask yourself is, which of these do you want to be? We are all suffering in so many different ways. So do you want to suffer like a winner, or do you want to suffer like a loser? To stand up straight with your shoulders back is to accept the terrible responsibility of life with eyes wide open. It means deciding to voluntarily transform the chaos of potential into the realities of habitable order. It means adopting the burden of self-conscious vulnerability and accepting the end of the unconscious paradise of childhood, where finitude and morality are only dimly comprehended. It means willingly undertaking the sacrifices necessary to generate a productive and meaningful reality. It means acting to please God in ancient language. Number 2. Treat yourself like someone that you are responsible for helping. Think about this. Let's say one of your friends is really struggling with a drinking problem. They come to you and they ask you for help with this problem. Now, of course, you're gonna do whatever you can do to help them out. Now, let's say that that person is now you, and you came to yourself and asked yourself for help. Would you still help yourself? Of course, most people are going to say, yes, of course I'm going to help myself. But the sad reality is that most people don't. We are all sinners and we all make a mistake, and it's okay to see yourself as someone who needs help sometimes, because we all do. As much as the whole world puts so much emphasis on helping others, it is okay to not only ask for help, but also help yourself at some point. If one of your friends continues to go back to someone who keeps cheating on them, what are you going to tell them? You're not going to tell them to go back to that person. You're going to tell them, get away from that person. It's for your own good. But why can't you tell yourself that if you keep going back to a relationship that is not beneficial for you and you know it? It's not okay. It's not okay for your friend, and it's definitely not okay for you. Strengthen the individual. Start with yourself. Take care with yourself. Define who you are, refine your personality, choose your destination, and articulate your being. Number 3, befriend people who want the best for you. This one's kind of obvious, but surround yourself with people who support your upward aim. Don't let yourself get taken advantage of, because there are going to be people who are going to try and drag you down. There's actually a study done with managers where a lot of managers actually would try to put their lower achieving people with their higher achieving people, and the goal was to get their lower achieving people to the level of the higher achieving people. That's not what actually happened though. What actually happened was that the lower achievers actually dragged down the higher achievers to the lower level. This is why rule 2 is so important. But remember that not all good people actually want the best for you. The friends that you should be searching for are not supposed to be yes men. They're not supposed to support you in everything. These people will absolutely not tolerate your cynical and self-destructive tendencies. And something that you're probably going to have to develop is some humility, so that you can actually hear and listen to what you don't want to hear. And that's probably what they're going to tell you at some points. Of course, they're going to be encouraging with positive things that will have a positive impact on your life, but they're not going to tolerate the negatives. And this is going to make you a truly better person. Number 4, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. There's a very large problem with depression in today's modern age, and I think deep down everyone knows that a lot of it is probably due to social media. Now, it's natural for you to compare yourself to others. Your body actually releases serotonin when it sees that your skill level is above others, and it restricts serotonin when it sees that your position in society is threatened. What serotonin is a happiness chemical, and it influences how happy you are. Now, this is a natural thing, and it's been natural for thousands and thousands of years, but we've never had a time in history where you can just pull out your phone and compare yourself to billions and billions of people. This creates a cycle of sadness that it not only restricts your serotonin because you pull out your phone and you're comparing yourself to everyone constantly, but what this does is it demoralizes you, and it ultimately prevents you from actually taking action which will improve your status in life. The best way to stop this from happening is to only compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Just try to get a little bit better every single day, just that little bit of progress, and eventually all those successes will add up. Even a man on a sinking ship can be happy when he clambers aboard the lifeboat. And who knows where he might go in the future. To journey happily may well be better than to arrive successfully. Number 5. Do not let your children do anything that would make you dislike them. There's this really fascinating aggression that is found in humans, and it's innately found in children, which is weird. This is probably one of those hard truths that a lot of people need to hear, but none of us are innocent. None of us are innocent beings. We're all not good. We all have evil inside, and we must accept that. But this is why it is so important to instill the appropriate rules in children, not only so that they can function in society, but so that they can literally be the society. To overcome this natural aggression of children, we gotta teach them to be kind. Let's raise kind children. Let's be able to say no when a child acts in an inappropriate way. Let's reward a child when they show acts of love and kindness. And I think this is truly, truly important, but we have to raise children that are passionate about changing the world. Number 6, set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. A lot of times we let resentment and envy grow in our heart. We grow envious with what other people have that we don't, and that really comes out in our complaints. We cannot let resentment and envy grow in our lives, and we must replace that with a habitable order. Before you go out and complain about the world, or before you go out and criticize against the world, humble yourself for a second. Take a second, look at your room and figure out what needs to be cleaned, and just organize every single thing in your room. Once you're done with your room, clean your house. Figure out what needs to be clean in your house. Set your room in order, set your house in order. Once you're done with that, maybe you can take up a little bit of extra responsibility at work, and then possibly you could try learning a new skill that will be difficult, and you just keep taking these steps to create more and more order in your life. And your life ultimately becomes better. There becomes less reason to actually complain, which is the funny part. It's almost ironic. It is ironic. Address the problems in your life first before you begin to address the problems of the world. Once you have your life in order, then and only then will you be able to have a clear image of how you can make an impact on the world. Number 7, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Personally, my favorite one. In a world of instant gratification, this one might be the most difficult one, but it also might be the most rewarding. Life is full of suffering. I'm just gonna put that out there. But you get to choose between meaningless suffering and meaningful suffering. Avoid things like sugar, porn, alcohol, and other drugs, and start seeking things that actually give you meaning and better your life. Maybe start going out to play a sport that you've always liked, or pick up an instrument that you've always wanted to play. Or maybe one of the best ways to find meaning is not for the benefit of yourself, but for the benefit of others. Ask yourself this question: what sacrifices can I make so that I can use my skill set to help others and do something that is truly meaningful? Because in the end, we don't find meaning in doing stuff for ourselves. We don't find meaning in bettering our own lives. We find meaning in our relationship to others, in our relationships to the environment around us. And that is what's truly, truly meaningful. Find a way to connect. Find a way to have a relationship. This is why this is my favorite one. And this will change your life more than anything else that I could possibly say. Number 8, tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Now, this includes lying to others, and it also includes lying to yourself. And I know the first objection to this is going to be, well, what about white lies? Well, white lies are a form of instant gratification, and let me give you an example. Let's say your wife is always moving the remote, and it really bothers you, but it's not a big deal. So when she moves the remote and she asks you if it's bothering you, you just say no, because it's not a big deal, right? But this happens day after day after day. And little, tiny, small amounts of anger and resentment are building up in you because it's that little action that's repeated day after day after day. Now keep in mind that is just one single action. Now what about all those other white lies that you're telling throughout your day? All these little amounts of anger and resentment are just going to build up in your life. And this is why the white lie is so dangerous to society, because these little things add up to huge momentumous waves of anger and resentment. Wouldn't it be easier to just articulate the truth, what you actually feel, the way you actually want things to be? Telling the truth all the time, constantly in your relationship is so important, because it not only allows you to be yourself, but it also allows you to build meaningful and genuine relationships that are not propped up on false white lies. Now, when it comes to lying to yourself, I think it's even more important to just be truthful with yourself, because this is a huge problem in society nowadays. It is okay to be in a hole that you're not proud of, but it's not okay to lie about it. If you're fat, don't lie to yourself and tell yourself that you're not. If you're broke, don't lie to yourself and tell yourself yourself that you're not. If you're lonely, don't lie to yourself and tell yourself that you're not. Once you start telling yourself the truth, you can actually sit down and make a plan for it. Maybe it's to get in the gym, or maybe it's to make money, or maybe it's to make new friends, but it all starts by being truthful and honest with yourself about who you are and who you want to be. Once you have a truthful definition of who you are, then you can decide the steps that you need to take in order to get to who you want to be. Number 9. Assume that the person you are listening to might know something that you don't. Mark Twain once said, "It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so." Everyone knows what it feels like to talk to that one person that just thinks they know everything. They go on and on and on and on and on and on about their lives and how things should and shouldn't be, how things are supposed to not be, how you should be living your life versus how you shouldn't be living your life. And you just can't wait to get away from them. Can't wait for the conversation to end. You just want to leave, right? Everyone knows those types of people. A lot of the times, this is how we act as well. We let our egos get in our head and we believe that we are superior to everyone else, but we're not. When we have these notions in our heads about what we believe to be true, we sort of brush off everything that contradicts those notions because it's painful to hear. The problem with this is that you're not allowing any idea from the outside to contradict your personal view of how the world should and shouldn't be. You're not learning anything. Instead, I think we should try to learn to put our egos aside and actually truly listen to what others have to say. Maybe the other person actually does know something that you don't, and you're missing out on it because you have all these ideas in your head about how things should be. But if you go into conversations with an open mind and actually listen to their ideas and why they think those ideas, then you're able to learn and you're able to grow as an individual. Keeping an open mind allows you to grow as a persona and to allow new ideas to shape the way you think. Number 10. Be precise in your speech. Your words are a physical manifestation of your thoughts. I'm going to say that again because I think it's just that important. Your words are just a physical manifestation of your thoughts. The more precise you can be in the way you talk, then the more clearly you will be able to articulate your thoughts. And I cannot explain in how many ways that this will truly affect your life. The more clear you can be with your goals, then the more likely it will be that you will achieve them. The more clear you can be in your relationships, then the more healthy that they will actually be. The more clear that you can be with yourself, then the more you will be able to improve what needs to be improved. I cannot stress this enough. Be articulate with your words. Number 11. Do not bother children when they are skateboarding. There seems to be a progressive move in society that is kind of forcing people to not take any risks, and I think this is especially relevant when it comes to children. The problem with this is that you don't learn anything if you don't take any risks. Let's actually take skateboarding for an example. A lot of parents push their kid away from skateboarding because it's dangerous, because they might get some broken bones, but how are they supposed to take on the world if they can't even take on skateboarding? Like I'm serious here. How are they supposed to take on the world if they can't even ride a board with wheels down a ramp? You're relatively safe on a skateboard. You might get a couple of broken bones, you might get a serious injury, but it's usually manageable, and from those experiences, you're able to learn. As a child, you're then able to take that into the world, and when you face a challenge or when you face a defeat, and you're gonna be able to maximize your learning from these challenges, from these defeats. I'm not saying you have to send your child to go skateboard, but put them in something where they can take risks, where they can have the potential of being hurt. Let go of them. Let them go out into the world and explore on their own and learn on their own. This is how you truly maximize learning, because we're built to do that. We're designed to do that, to learn, to create. As a child and as an adult, I think you're going to advance much faster if you take more risks and you learn from them. So as a society, I think instead of shying away from risks, we should embrace them and learn from them. And we should strive to do things where we can experience danger in a mitigated and controlled way. Number 12. Pet a cat when you encounter one in the street. It's a scary world out there. It really, really is. And it's easy to focus on these parts of the world, but it's not helpful. To focus on these parts of the world might be even scarier than actually focusing on the scary parts themselves. Instead, put your focus on the love and beauty of the world. Set your eyes on the sunset or on the flowers that you just walked by, or like Jordan Peterson says, on petting a cat and listening to it purr. Set your eyes on these moments because they're especially precious and rare, and as is the experience we are going through. These last 12 rules are to help you live a happy and successful life, and if you can now go out there and apply them in your own life, I can assure you that it will get a lot better.